Nuanced nostalgia, it's a 90s vibe. Come and tap in, we keeping it live. Nuanced nostalgia, it's a 90s vibe. Come and tap in, we keeping it live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Nuanced Nostalgia. My name is Nick Norris, and with me, as always, is Caitlin, My Scene Shortall.
My Scene.
Yeah, that's 2 words.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
How you doing?
So great.
We've been trying to get this studio up and running for an hour.
An hour.
Yeah, but here we are with 3 cameras.
And great lighting. Good lighting.
Better lighting.
Yeah.
We recorded video last week and didn't put it up because the lighting was so bad. So.
Yeah, it was not ideal. Yeah.
Now, this week we were going to play some Bratz video games and talk about them, but...
Yeah, we just absolutely could not figure out how to play them in general. Because I think we would have to order one from Amazon.
Yeah, we tried to download a thing, and it was just hard on the Mac, and I didn't feel like getting onto all of it.
And we didn't have a mouse and a keyboard, and so it was just gonna be a whole thing. We don't have a desktop, so it was gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah, so we're just gonna order some physical copies, but we may not actually get around to that until November, because starting next week we enter our spooky phase.
Spooky month.
Yeah.
So anyway, while we were searching for VHSs, which new VHS little bookshelf here.
Yeah. What you think? We got your Barbies, got some Star Wars stuff.
This Barbie. This is a Belle Barbie with a random clip in her hair. Didn't want to touch it. And that Barbie was that Bratz is definitely like a McDonald's Bratz. She's very sticky.
We should be clear. You bought those at the thrift store.
That's
today.
what I probably should have started with that.
Yeah,
at the
you
thrift
didn't make
store.
Them sticky. Yeah.
I did not make them sticky, right? Anyway, all that was from the thrift store, all of this. So anyway, while there, you saw a Masquerade Madness My Scene DVD.
Right.
And I was like, I have to get it. I absolutely have to get it. So I was just thinking of things we could just watch instead of playing that game, and I was like, well, I got My Scene. I used to watch that all the time when I was younger.
Yeah.
So let's just watch that. I had not seen this since I was like 8 or 9 years old. Since I had bought the Masquerade Madness dolls, which when you bought the doll, it came with this DVD.
Yeah, that's how you got the DVD. It was straight to DVD. Didn't go to theaters or anything. You had to get the doll, a certain select doll. There's so many of them. And then you got the DVD with it, or you got a soundtrack, or you got a commercial
with different other
else.
dolls. Yeah. So that's kind of like how it came to be that did this.
Yeah,
but
I spent $70 on VHS tapes today.
But you know what? I think it's pretty slay.
I hope they're worth it. this strictly decoration here.
I mean,
we could watch.
I think they're cool.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm sure there's VHS players out there somewhere.
Yeah, and we had bought even more. We were going to buy even more, and then I was like, let's put back 8 of these. And I'm glad we did, because I didn't realize some of these were $10.
Which cannot believe it. It's not worth $10.
Yeah, most of them were 2 or 3, but yeah,
at the most. $3 or $4.
Yeah, Freaky Friday was $8.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz was $10, but we got some cool ones. We got some Barbie ones. We've got Titanic, Star Wars. That's like an original, unedited Star Wars. So that's pretty cool.
That's fun.
Yeah. So maybe we'll pop that one in.
Barbie, Nutcracker. Let's see what else.
Jurassic Park set.
Cinderella,
Titanic.
Alice in Wonderland. There's Barbie Swan Lake. That one is very nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
And then I saw this Applause Bell is what it was called, and then this birthday butterfly Barbie, which has also a random clip in her hair, but I don't want to touch it. So anyway, this is just a bunch of stuff from our childhood, I guess you could say, from the thrift store, and also from what you've had.
Oh yeah, so I already had some. I had the Walking Dead, the Star Wars figures from the 70s, the 80s R2-D2, the GameCube, the Nintendo 64. So
yeah,
good stuff. But yeah, we're talking about My Scene. What'd you say it was called? Masquerade
Madness.
Masquerade Madness.
Now, I guess what I'll say before everything, I had to look deep into this after we watched it, because I was like, why does it look so similar to Bratz, but they're not Bratz?
Yeah.
So we can get into that. But yeah, apparently it's an offshoot of. It's under Mattel, and I didn't know that until I started looking at it today. I was like, "That's actually wild." I didn't know they came like as a direct competitor to Bratz, which makes sense if you think about it, like
Yeah.
as a grown person now. So anyway,
Yeah. So there's a couple channels we want to shout out. I know one of them was
oh no, I don't actually remember.
yeah. If you want to look those up, one of them was something like what's yours or something. I can't remember what it was.
So I watched all the webisodes. That was I guess there's a My Scene TM YouTube account, but there's also, let's see here, a fashion doll retrospective. There's 4 parts of that. Just looking at the history of the My Scene dolls.
Yeah.
There's just
while you're looking for
basically if you just Google My Scene, really the top videos are what we watched.
Yeah, and there's some good ones. But so to get into this, the Mattel's My Scene franchise, like we said, is Barbie's answer to Bratz. Barbie is the main character for most of this run. We'll get into how she's phased out later on, but the doll line ran from 2002 to 2008 in America, phased out worldwide 2010 or 11, I think, is what I read.
Surely,
yeah. So this doll line, we're specifically talking about the 2004 straight to DVD My Scene Masquerade Madness, and we're going to mention some of the webisodes we watched too. I'll get them out of those. Yeah, and like I said, you can only get this by buying the select dolls. So kind of cool. Why was this important to you? This is something that as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, look, My Scene. You're like, we got to get it immediately. So why was that engraved into you?
I suppose, well, like a lot of the videos I watched, it was targeted directly for tweens, I guess they said, like young teens. And so when this came out, I was like, because it came out, what, 2004 or like
2002 to 2008.
I can't remember if this one's in 2004, but
yeah, this one's 2004.
Yeah. So like I remember just this one specifically because I think I was like 8 or 9 at the time. So I was definitely in like the target demographic for this at the time. And so like I remember the doll specifically. I distinctly remember the doll I got. It was Barbie with like the butterfly wings.
Yeah.
I thought she was very slay. And so anyway, I just remember like specifically having this doll and watching this movie, which I don't even know if you consider this a movie, to be honest.
Well, it's 20. Okay, so it's 23 minutes, and that's including all the DVD bonus features, which is just a commercial for the video game and a commercial for the website.
Which I play the website, and if you didn't play the website, then you just weren't on the internet as a kid at that point. You know what I mean? Because pretty much every girl that was, grew up in the early 2000s, you have been on the My Scene website and played those Flash games. So. And you know what I'm talking about if you just know, And
we found copies of those. Like the My Scene website is defunct; you can't get on it anymore.
Yeah,
but people have copied those games over to other sites, so you can still play them.
But it just wasn't the same, know. But yeah, so that there was for some reason an ad for the website, which was wild. But then there was an ad for the game, and I played the game. And looking at an ad for the game, I was like, "Damn, that game looks bad.
It looks really bad. It looks so cheap."
Yeah, but I loved it. I remember going to Office Max for some reason to buy it. So yeah, very fond for me. But anyway, yeah, it just I don't know necessarily why it was just this one, because this isn't even the first thing of the My Scene brand.
The first one was Jam in Jamaica, right?
Well, apparently the first movie is Jam in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So
and there's 3 movies. Well, I'll talk about all those later.
Yeah. But I also got the Jam in Jamaica dolls. Like really, the Jam in Jamaica and this one, Masquerade Madness. Those are the only 2 I like distinctly remember.
Okay.
And there's another video I was watching, and they were this guy was saying that like really the only standout collections from My Scene were Masquerade Madness. That was the only one he thought, but I also thought Jam in Jamaica just because it was nostalgic for me. But anyway, yeah, basically it was, I don't even know how to describe it. Like if you were there, you were just there, and you get it, and you get it, you know, like.
Well, while we're talking about it, these are the 3 movies. There was Jammin' in Jamaica, that was 2004. Masquerade Madness, also 2004. And then My Scene Goes Hollywood, 2005.
Okay, so I guess what I'll say is I do remember that one also. Okay. Yeah, because like, like Madison is like the main character in that one. And I remember being like, Barbie deserves to be the main one, but like, I don't understand why I like specifically needed that to happen. But anyway,
Which Barbie's not the main character in the one we watched either.
yeah, no, I guess technically it's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but which, yeah, I don't know. There was a video I watched just recently about this, and basically they were saying that my scene was more like relatable with like relatable like themes to what you were going through at the time.
Yeah.
So like school troubles and like boy troubles, even though like nothing is ever that deep.
Yeah.
But
But when you're that age, every little issue is the biggest thing in the world.
which is exactly what they made it out to seem.
Yeah. Because like, I mean, I remember, and I was a teacher, so I saw it recently too. Just like a little argument in your friend's basement is just the only problem in the world when you're a teenager or a kid, so I understand. Yeah. And they capture that,
Yeah.
Let's talk, before we get into the actual movie though, let's talk about what this doll line even is. So like you said, it is an answer to Bratz specifically. Right. You can see that in the design
of the
we've got some stuff up here. You'll see a little bit of it, but it is, the heads are bigger than regular Barbies, just like how Bratz heads are bigger. So the eye lines are caked up like Bratz.
The lips are bigger. The the eyes are definitely more like almond shaped and cat eyed like Bratz are.
The makeup's heavier. The shoes are huge like Bratz shoes.
Exactly. Now they are taller. They don't look exactly like the Bratz, but you can tell it's like definitely like trying to emulate that for sure.
There's a very obvious inspiration there, to say the least.
Because the video I was watching was saying that apparently at the time Barbie was losing in the tween demographic, and so they had to like come up with something to answer to Bratz, because Bratz like completely changed like the doll industry, and like made it to where like they were like fashion forward and like diverse and like all these things.
And I didn't know this, but in the video we watched, which, see if we can find that first video. I want to see the creator so we can mention it, but Mattel apparently in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, was losing a lot of money. And so they decided, well, we need to focus on our flagship toys, and Barbie, of course, one of those flagship toys. So they wanted to figure out, like you said, how to crack that older tween demographic. And what they came up with was copy Bratz, get rid of pink. They got rid of the signature pink. They replaced it with like you can see it up here, like the blues and oranges and
the
stuff.
primary colors.
And they made them teenagers, maybe. Sometimes they're teenagers, sometimes they're young adults. There's no continuity in this franchise either.
Which I guess what I'll say, so
like in one episode this pair's a couple, in the next episode this pair's a couple, and then they're not a couple, and then there's no continuity whatsoever.
I guess the thing about it is like I don't know what is happening when technically. So like who's to say that one episode happened before they were a couple, and like so there's no like grasp on like what happens when. There's no like season changing. Like sometimes there is in like the Christmas episode, but like there's no way to figure out what happens before what. Anyway, that creator is called apparently Have You Heard?
That's it.
A fashion doll retrospective.
And they have like 4 parts. We only watched the first one, but
because I was like, I mean, the only one I really remember is like the beginning parts. They get into like how it eventually ends, but that obviously I was kind of out of it at that point. I was in high school, so And then there was one I watched like just like an overview of it, My Scene versus Bratz. And then I got into the Jammin' in Jamaica song, which was really good. But anyway, Darling Dolls made this video called Bratz versus My Scene, an overview. And really their point was just that it comes down to like what you prefer out of the dolls that you want. But I remember at the time really identifying with My Scene for sure.
Really?
It's very nostalgic for me, very close to my heart.
Well, that's fun. Well, let's talk a little bit about the movie Masquerade Madness. You just give us a quick recap of what happens in this movie. It's actually not a lot because it's 23 minutes.
I'm telling you, I remember really liking this movie. I remember it being like so dramatic, which goes to show just like how everything is just so serious when you're younger.
But your brain fills in the gaps.
100%. But watching it now, I'm like, I was getting so mad. I was like, I hate movies where like the plot can be solved by just talking to each other. Just leaving an, what do you say, a sticky note or something?
So you can solve it with a sticky note. If you can solve every problem in the movie by putting a sticky note on the fridge, it's probably not a very good movie.
Just made me so mad. I was like, oh my god, like can we all just speak to each other? And like They must not even. I mean, sure, they are supposed to be very close, but how close are you really when you can't tell your own friends that you're struggling in a math class?
Yeah. So the plot of this
I didn't even
is,
explain it at all, but that's my problem with it.
the plot is that Chelsea, she is Chelsea,
The brown haired one.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
brown haired one.
basically.
Chelsea.
Well, it's technically,
Reddish,
maroon, but whatever.
right,
Anyway, yeah.
She is failing math.
Yeah.
And she is getting blonde guy
Hudson
to tutor her.
Blonde guy.
But she is embarrassed that she's failing math, so she doesn't want to tell Barbie and the other girls and the Asian stereotype Barbie.
Noli,
which they just made the Asian smart at math get a math.
Which, like, you know that one of your best friends is good at math, and you don't go to her first.
Yeah,
you go to some random guy. Like, oh my god, please pretend to date me.
Yeah, so they get caught hanging out a lot together because they're supposed to be getting ready for the fashion show, the high school fashion show,
which was supposed to be like this like show to benefit like the animal, I almost said animal control, the animal shelter. Yeah.
And so they keep showing up late, and they're always showing up late together, and so people start thinking, or their friends, Barbie and the friends, start thinking they're dating.
Yeah.
And they confront her and ask, are you and Hudson dating? And she's too embarrassed to say that she is being tutored for math, so she says yes, and they pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend, but they secretly like each other, but she also likes other boys. And then they do the fashion show, and the Asian stereotype finds out, and she tutors her in math and teaches her that geometry is just like fashion design.
But she does all of that before the fashion show, because remember, she still has to put together the outfits, which for some reason she's the only one doing it. Right. Why did they just put it on one high school girl?
Yeah,
they didn't have a department for that.
Right.
She had to make like 10 of them.
Oh, and while all this is going on, it's somebody's birthday.
Oh yeah, it's her birthday.
Chelsea's birthday.
Her 16th birthday.
Yeah, they're throwing her a secret surprise party.
And they ask Madison's dad, which there's not a single adult in this, I guess. But aside, who cares? You know what I mean? Aside from that, like, they're like, Madison, you have to ask your dad if we can use the loft for your Chelsea surprise birthday. It's a big ass building.
Yeah,
like
in New York. They are very wealthy.
They must all be rich or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, like Noli's like, girl, it's just like designing clothing. Geometry is, which like it literally is. So why was she struggling?
Right.
I'm confused about that. But anyway, so
you don't just sketch those dresses.
You
those
really
are
have
dimensions.
to understand. Yeah, you have to understand dimensions and like how you have to critically think about that.
Yeah, but,
abstractly.
Good message. Math can be fun to kids. That kind of thing.
And like it's important to like be honest with your friends instead of just because like objectively it doesn't make sense to do that. They could have just done anything else to try and like get her and Hudson together. Why did it have to be like we have to pretend today because I can't tell my best friends that I'm bad at math? They're gonna think I'm a dumbass, which like they wouldn't, because they were obviously so supportive. Because like she was offended that Noli was offended she didn't tell her. So it's like they obviously wanted to know. Why did you just not tell it? That was so annoying. I was like, are you really not even close friends with them? And then, it make it worse when I watched the webisodes. There were so many of them, but I watched the webisodes. I remembered a lot of them. They just never want to talk about anything that's like too scandalous. Yeah. Like, or like, too much to handle for them. Like, if you're really that close, you're going to tell your best friends everything. Right. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is off limits. Maybe they're just not, they weren't that close. I don't know.
It honestly feels like the boy characters have better rapport with each other than the girl characters. The boy characters like tell each other everything. They're like, I screwed up this date. And they go into detail in one of the episodes about how and the guys were like, oh man, it's okay. It'll all work out. I did too. And the girls are like, I can't tell my friends that I'm failing math. Yeah. It's like,
I was just so confused because like, if you're that close, you're going to tell them everything. You know what I mean? And then like in this movie, like I said, they're 16, they're in high school. But then like later on, they seem like they're young adults.
Yeah. So
in the webisodes.
Yeah. Or it jumps back and forth.
There's no way to tell. I have no idea.
It doesn't matter because there's no continuity in this. But there are weird instances of continuity.
Like it's either like don't commit to it or like you have to make it all continuous. I don't know.
So there's one boy character that obviously he wasn't selling many dolls, and so they phase him out. but they keep him in the universe through being a pen pal.
Yeah, there was like this Halloween, not hello. There's a Christmas webtoon episode or whatever you want to call it, where like he writes a letter to, I can't remember if it was Noli, I think it was Noli, but that, like, why do that if you're not going to sell any dolls of him?
Yeah, why are you committing to this?
Are they implying that they're dating? But
I
also,
guess.
but like, he didn't like put anything in it. He was just like, I named a star after you, and she's like, oh my god. But like, so are you guys dating, or you just did that?
Yeah, and also like you could still put him in the cartoon and not sell the doll.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you technically
Or you could
could.
you just get rid of it. It's weird. And then they do the same thing. Let's get into it.
Just say they broke up. Why did you have to do that?
So in 2006, 2 years before my scene collapsed and was done with, Barbie was dropped from the line in favor of a new character called Kennedy, which if you look her up, it's just Barbie with a different name.
And what I'll say to that is I genuinely thought they were the same person.
Yeah.
And like when I was younger, right, still into this, I thought they were the same person. They just changed the name.
Yeah, and they basically did. The in-universe explanation is Barbie moves to California.
Which, like, okay, whatever, I guess.
So I guess this is a prequel, sort of. If they're having Barbie move to the dream house, and
I mean, sure, but I don't understand why did that even have to happen?
Yeah,
I don't get that at all.
Because you think, you'd think Barbie would be the one that would sell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why did it have to be Kennedy eventually? I mean, when I was younger, I did not think that at all. I was like, oh, okay, they just changed the name for some reason.
Yeah. The only thing I can think is maybe they wanted to distance themselves more to be more cool. Like, oh, well, Barbie's a little girl toy, so this is Kennedy.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Yeah.
I don't think kids think like that, though. I don't think kids would have cared.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, like, when I was younger, I guess to the continuity thing, too, like, I had no concept of what was happening when. I mean, no one does in general, I feel like, at that age, so I guess that doesn't really matter. But in terms of, like, it holding up now, for me personally, I was like, this is making me mad. Nothing makes sense. Everyone's just dating everyone. No one, and then there's a random British man, like, they don't explain that at all. They're just like, yeah, this one person is British.
But you're right, because as a kid, I didn't think about continuity either, except for in Star Wars, because that's confusing. Episodes 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 in that order. Well,
I genuinely couldn't understand why. To speak on that, I couldn't understand why Yoda was a puppet in those ones, and then in the first 3, he was animated. Anyway, that's size point. So just to comment on not understanding continuity, I wasn't really a big deal, I guess.
Yeah, and then my other one I didn't understand was the SpongeBob movie.
Yeah,
where like they come back and there's a Krusty Krab 2, and there's all these different things that then they go back to the show and it's not there anymore. But there is a reason for that. Apparently, the SpongeBob movie is set in like 2020 or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, let me look up when it's set. It's like late 2010s or 2020, and that's how they explained it.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. I guess looking at it now, I had to just stop watching it because I was like, this is making me mad. Like, nothing is making sense.
The SpongeBob SquarePants movie takes place in 2029.
Why?
But David Hasselhoff's there.
And he's young.
Yeah. I guess he's also like a robot in that movie.
Why would anyone? That's making me mad. Why would anyone think that? So yeah, that's just a comment on like kids do not care.
Yeah.
And, like they see what's in front of them and they just take it at face value. Yeah. Like, I mean, which makes sense, but and like I appreciate them. I've seen like webtoons in general because I used to watch those all the time. Like I distinctly remember them, but yeah, looking at it now, I'm like, oh my god, who was dating Ellis? Who was dating Hudson? Why are you encouraging your girl eventually, or maybe in the past, to go flirt with some other man?
Yeah.
And then in the movie, Chelsea, you're supposed to be fake dating Hudson. Why are you telling Hudson you're flirting with another guy in front of his face?
Yeah, to him.
You could have said anything. You could have said it like, oh my god, no, you were just like chatting. Like, she's like, Hudson, I'm trying to flirt with him. Why would you say that? I mean, like, obviously I guess they have to spell it out for kids, and I was just like, this is just so wild.
I'm gonna look up how much a My Scene doll is now.
I think they're like really expensive.
Let's see. On eBay. Wow.
Yeah.
My Scene Rebel Kennedy, the 2006, still in the box, $71.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah.
Barbie My Scene Fab Faces Noli doll rare in the box, $250.
Yep. That
Yeah,
checks out.
most of these are in the hundreds, 200s.
Yeah, so it's definitely very beloved. I think because like they're rare because I feel like it didn't go for very long, and everyone
Yeah.
like that scared me. Yeah, so like it makes sense why they're very sought after for sure. I would buy them.
Yeah.
Maybe not for $70, but I would buy one.
The theme song's great.
It's I mean, I still know the words. It's so slay. Like that one, and then the Jammin' Jamaica song.
We're going out tonight. The scene is outside. Gonna get my girls together. We'll be feeling alright. We're gonna
Move through the crowd. Come on, boys, get loud.
get loud. Turn the music.
That was good.
Whole club will be jumping. Yeah. So anyway, that song is great.
Yeah.
But it played on like the website too,
And all the commercials, which we also watched. We watched a compilation of My Scene Doll commercials.
Well, I didn't.
Even French and Spanish.
Yeah,
ones.
I wasn't expecting them to put like other languages in it. But I'm very, I've said I'm interested in the commercials. It shows like the actual dolls, obviously, that came out at the time.
Yeah. How they're marketed.
One thing that they did was, and Barbie did it too, but they released like dolls with like music CDs. They released
They had Smash Mouth.
like one of them was released with a Smash Mouth DVD,
Yeah.
not DVD, CD, and the other two I couldn't remember. But they started out with just Barbie, Chelsea, and Madison because it was supposed to be like them being in NYC,
Right. Yeah, named after different Chelsea,
places
Madison,
in NYC. And this is just to get into the lore of it because I was very curious
Yeah.
because I never cared when I was younger.
Right.
But to look into it now, I mean, it's wild. Like they just start out with those three,
And they talk about it in the webisode. They're like, "Oh, Madison, like New York, you know."
Yeah, but I couldn't grasp that.
Yeah.
I was that
Have you been to
age.
New York? You have.
Yeah, when I was super young. Yeah, like 8 years old.
I've never left Sipsy.
Not once.
No. Why would I? Is there anything else out there?
Yeah.
Like just more trees, Dollar Generals, that kind of thing.
More trees and Dollar Generals. That's it.
Yeah. Well, why would I leave?
Anyway. So they just started with those three, and then from there they kept just adding new characters. And anyway, they had released those dolls with like the CDs, and then I thought was cool, they released like a party lounge set with a CD player.
Yeah.
I thought that was really slay. And then they had like a
Spa set.
that was cool.
Yeah.
And then they like actual bathtub, and they had a car that you could actually that had a real radio, and you could take out the radio and listen to it like an MP3 player.
They also had a karaoke stand that was a radio MP3 player.
Yeah. So I didn't have any of those apparently, but would have loved
deserve
to.
them now.
Yeah.
And put them on the shelf.
Yeah.
That's where all of our ridiculous things we buy can go.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, my scene is definitely, I feel like it's definitely very like kids now would have no idea, obviously, but like if you grew up in the early 2000s and you were like a doll person, you definitely know about them.
Yeah. And to be fair, like my scene and Bratz, probably more so Bratz, but my scene too has had a lasting impact. Not necessarily that those things are still going, even though there's still some Bratz dolls here. You can get the Kylie Jenner Bratz doll and all that, but they're not in stores like Barbie.
Yeah.
But you see their influence in these dolls like Monster High.
Yeah.
And these other ones that are more tween driven.
Yeah.
They're less safe, and more kind of edgy. That aspect of it lived on.
That's 100% what like this video was saying, the overview video. It definitely, Bratz specifically paved the way for my scene and like every other alternative type of doll.
Right.
Because it showed you like you can have like the fashion forward doll and like have these like really not like wacky at the time, but like it's definitely very like Y2K and like very I don't even know how to describe it, like edgy alternative, and it showed that like that would do well with kids.
So
and it did pretty well. Like Bratz did, very well longer than like my scene did.
Well, I mean, Mattel was panicking with the Bratz.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate. Bratz just didn't have the legs. Like they couldn't keep it going, the momentum going.
But now it's definitely like people my age that are like collecting it. Which is fine.
Yeah.
But like I was watching, like I said, the overview video, and there was apparently like 50 characters
Yeah.
Which, like, I
Over
guess
time.
makes sense for why, like, so we went in store to look at the dolls one time and, like, or all the dolls, and I was looking at the Bratz dolls. I was like, who are these people? I
Yeah.
don't know this Dana,
Yeah, because
this
cause I was like,
Fiona.
because apparently for years Bratz dolls were discontinued. You could only
I didn't
buy
know that.
collector editions.
Yeah.
You couldn't buy them in stores. And then when the Barbie movie came out, we were looking at Barbies, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, Bratz are back,
Yeah.
but it's new characters.
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, but I guess, and then the other thing I'll say to that too is like,
Although the dolls look good, like the clothes,
do.
like they obviously like they're not cheap.
Yeah.
They like it's fur coats and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as the characters go, one thing that this guy was saying, this video, the overview video, he had a lot of good information in this, but he was saying the My Scene dolls were very much like character driven, and they had their own stories and like storylines, and like it showed Barbie in a light that like she wasn't like totally perfect and could have flaws.
Yeah.
Which was a first apparently. And the Bratz, they're definitely weren't as like individualized. Like they all just kind of had like
They're like a team. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, and you know, like I said at the beginning, it just depends on what you look for
Mhm.
in dolls. If you just want like fashion girly, like you could do Bratz,
Yeah.
but my scene was definitely like story character driven, and like
And
that's how it started too.
That's true. Even as a kid, that obviously, I didn't play with Barbies or Bratz or anything.
Mhm.
That just wasn't my thing. But even I recognized like, oh, Barbie is Barbie, and then the Bratz are like a group. You didn't
Yeah.
see anybody with one Bratz doll. You saw a girl with 2 or 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
But you might only have one Barbie, and
that's fair.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Bratz, like they do look very like not similar in terms of like skin tone necessarily. They're all very diverse in terms of
Yeah.
that, but like it wasn't like one had like a specific like vintage fashion, another one had like
Right.
sporty. Like that's what the My Scene dolls did.
I think I would compare them to like Ninja Turtle figures. You don't just have Raphael. You got all 4 of them. Just like you don't just have
That's
Sasha.
fair.
You got all 4.
That's fair. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, while we're on the topic of Bratz and Barbie, this is some legal issues that My Scene had. On April 13th, 2005, Mattel's competing toy company, MGA Entertainment, filed a lawsuit against Mattel for its My Scene brand, alleging duplication of its Bratz dolls' multi-ethnic looks, fashion, and packaging. The suit further accused Mattel of engaging in acts of unfair competition and intellectual property infringement intended to damage its market share, confuse consumers, and trade on the company's goodwill. In 2006, Mattel countersued MGA Entertainment, alleging that Bratz creator Carter Bryant had been working for Mattel when he developed the idea for Bratz in 1999 and had taken the idea to MGA secretly, with MGA in turn developing the first generation Bratz dolls while obscuring Bryant's involvement. Bryant and Mattel reached a settlement before trial, at which a federal jury awarded Mattel $100 million in damages for the violation of their intellectual property in 2008. I actually remember that happening as a kid. That was in the news.
That's wild.
And further issued an injunction that forced MGA to stop producing Bratz.
Is that why it ended?
No, they get around it, but it kills it, essentially.
Damn.
Bratz dies after that, really. In
That's
a
so
2011 retrial, however, MGA toy makers claimed that in production, the My Scene dolls, Mattel had stolen their trade secrets and violated antitrust laws and sought $1 billion in damages. The judge found in favor of Mattel, and MGA received an award totaling $309.9 million, freeing the company to produce Bratz once again, at which time Mattel retired the My Scene line. So this is what killed Bratz. No toys made from 2008 to 2011. That's a whole generation of kids, really, that would have played with those dolls. So once you reintroduce them, the kids that were playing with them are too old for them. Kids that are young enough have something else.
Exactly.
And that's what killed Bratz.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then, after that many years off of it, I just didn't, you couldn't catch back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really crazy.
I remember that happening as a kid, though, like, because it was just all over the news. It was like Barbie has sued Bratz. Bratz can no longer, because it was a huge thing because kids couldn't get them anymore.
Yeah.
And so like it was throwing people's like Christmas plans, like, oh, my kid wanted this for Christmas. Now there's only so many of them left in the world. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm surprised you don't remember that.
I mean, not like very distinctly at least, but
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but that's wild, yeah.
Do you think this holds up, this movie?
For me personally, no.
Yeah, you were not happy watching it. You're okay with the movie. You did not like the webisodes.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I think I liked it more than you did.
I think just because like I had such like a big idea of it in my head, which
Yeah.
Like I mean, I feel like in terms of like
That's-
things that are nostalgic to
That's
you.
the scary thing about this.
Yeah.
We're going back and watching things that we have very fond memories of, and realizing maybe they're not
You're
as
like,
good
damn,
as we
this
did.
sucks. Yeah.
And that's
I mean, that's the thing about. I mean, like it could be worse, right? Like the animation style, I feel like personally holds up way better than Bratz does.
I like this better than Rock Angels.
Yeah,
Now
I totally see why, and I definitely agree.
I like the Bratz aesthetic more and the characters more, but this
Yeah.
was breezy. It was easy to follow.
Yeah.
It didn't like overstay its welcome. Like
Yeah.
23 minutes was perfect amount, and it was done. And I was like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and like I do like this premise in general, just because like the outfits in the fashion show were so good.
Yeah.
Like they translated really well to the dolls, and the dolls I distinctly remember like they looked so cool, you know.
Yeah.
So like that aspect of it is very nostalgic for me. But in terms of like just the movie, like who the fuck is Kenzie? Why did they bring her on randomly? Like I don't think she even had a part in it, really.
No, but she's on the hardcover and
Yeah.
on the main menu screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's really interesting. And like in the webtoon, she's supposed to be country, like Southern.
Yeah.
Wasn't that her? I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting. But anyway, I think for me personally, maybe not. Like it was just so for me. Like the webtoons are definitely worse.
Yeah.
The
webtoons were not good, but I like the movie. I didn't mind it. But
Yeah.
the webtoons, yeah, they're bad.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you showed a kid now, they would appreciate it, but it definitely was easy to follow for sure.
Yeah.
And like, I just felt like they would go places and then like say a few things and then they would just immediately leave.
Yeah.
Like, didn't you just get there?
There's sometimes there's not a lot of thought into it. They're talking on, it's 2004. They're talking on flip phones.
Yeah, that's right.
And then one of them's like, look at this outfit I'm making or something like that.
Snaps a photo immediately. It sends immediately. She sees it immediately. She's like, "Oh my god!"
I didn't even realize she snapped a photo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that makes more sense. I thought she was just talking and they forgot that they weren't in the room together. No. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Oh, and then like Barbie has a damn headset on.
Yeah.
Like one of those like headsets with like the mouthpiece.
Yeah, like what you'd wear in if you're like answering calls for your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, like receptionist.
That was interesting. Yeah.
Okay, well that's all I got to say about my scene Barbie. But that was fun. I was pleasantly surprised by how interesting this whole thing was.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when I was younger, I just didn't even realize. I didn't put two and two together about why I liked it so much, I guess, but it makes sense. Like they're very much, and like I said, I didn't know it was even under Mattel. I honestly thought this is a whole separate brand of dolls, and I was like, how can they have her be Barbie? Isn't that like illegal? I think I thought that at some point. Like, how can her name be Barbie if it's under Mattel? That's why.
Like that was the goal to distance itself from the original Barbie brand.
Yeah,
while still somehow being Barbie.
Yeah, so. I mean, it should have worked on me. I don't know.
Well, let's get into our weekly questions. We told our listeners to send us a question.
Okay.
You can find us you can send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, Nuanced Nostalgia Pod, or on Gmail. And I think the Gmail is nuancednostalgiapod@gmail.com.
Find out.
Yeah. Anyway, so send one there. Maybe we'll get it, or send it on Facebook.
We'll find out. Definitely comment on Facebook. We'll definitely see it.
Yeah. So this is from Paul. Hello, Paul. He says, do you think the show Cat Dog would have been better if it was hyper realistic?
No.
And that's all I have to say about it. No.
Why would it have been better? I'm trying to figure that out.
A real cat and a real dog fused together.
That would look so bad.
That was a bad question.
Thanks for it, but no.
Somebody else send it a question. Okay.
That's a bad image. I don't like to think about that.
Yeah.
It would not have been better.
No. Okay. Well, now we have questions for each other.
Okay, you first.
Okay. Okay. So if you could go back to the 1950s and take them one movie to show them, to just see how many minds you can blow, what movie would you pick?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they'd listen to me. I didn't have any rights back then, but I don't know.
Maybe you would after you show them these movies.
Maybe I'd bring them 2012.
That's a good one because you could convince them that's what happened. So you could be like, this is real.
I'm from the future. Like this is gonna happen. Well, also, how would I even play it though? They didn't have like DVD
You get
players.
to bring all the technology. You can. They had.
How would I plug it in?
They had outlets. Plug it up.
I'd have to bring like a portable DVD player.
Yeah,
Make sure I had
fine.
batteries.
You plug it up.
You need like a portable one, you know.
No, just plug it to an outlet. Outlets haven't changed in forever.
I don't know. I don't know how it worked back then. I have no idea.
I think I'd take Guardians of the Galaxy.
They couldn't conceptualize that.
Yeah, like a talking raccoon just go flying through space. All these aliens.
Well, I think they would think that it was real.
Yeah, I want to
because
see
they
their
can't
minds
conceptualize
explode.
CGI.
Yeah, I want like to start a new religion based off of
Start a new
Guardians
religion.
of the Galaxy. Yeah, I think that's the movie I'd take back, or maybe just.
I think they would just tell me to go back to the
hyper-violent.
kitchen. Huh?
You think so?
I know they would.
Yeah, they'd watch your movie though.
Well,
Then they,
Then they tell me to go into the kitchen.
yeah. What do you think about that? You a fan of sexism?
No.
That's good. So you shouldn't be.
Are you a fan of it?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
What's your favorite My Scene character?
My favorite My Scene character.
Yeah.
Okay, there's Chelsea, Barbie, Hudson, Newly.
Noli. Yeah.
What's the redheaded one's name? Stacy.
No.
Stanley.
Where'd you get that from?
It'll start with
About
ST.
Kenzie?
That's the redheaded girl.
Maybe. There's Chelsea, Kenzie,
Yeah.
and also Delancey.
Delancey. That's my least favorite.
I like Delancey.
I don't like her name. It's not a real name.
She's from LA, so
It's not a real place.
it's not
I've
okay.
never left Sipsy. Nowhere. As far as I know, nowhere else exists. I don't know. I guess Chelsea, based off this one movie I've seen.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I
Although Noli seems like the most helpful.
right. I remember really liking Delancey and Barbie.
Yeah.
And then like Chelsea a little bit in the webisodes because she was very slay in that webisode. Yeah. For some reason, the webisode she's like very like brunette, and then in this movie she's like has like maroon hair almost.
Well, that's something else we found out is that they changed their hair a lot, or occasionally, to like rebrand them. Yeah. Well, great. That was that's it. That's the show. Next week. Next week we're starting our spooky season.
Yeah.
So maybe the studio will be spooky themed. I don't know.
Maybe.
If we get around to it. Maybe we'll wait till October. We'll probably start it. Well, I mean, we're doing the horror stuff. We're gonna watch Child's Play. Original Child's Play.
And I don't think I've actually ever seen original Child's Play, but Chucky is definitely iconic.
He's a doll.
Yeah.
Just like Barbie.
He's a little more evil though. Barbie doesn't kill people.
Yeah. I don't think she.
Checks
I don't
out.
think canonical. I'm sure there's been a wartime Barbie though. There had to have
Surely.
been like an Afghanistan, like post 9/11 Barbie.
What?
There had to be.
I thought you could just say like a 1950s Barbie.
No, like let me see. I'm gonna look up 9/11 Barbie.
That is an interesting Google search.
It's just Barbenheimer coming up. Let me look at wartime Barbie.
I was gonna say
There's definitely Barbie soldiers. Oh yeah.
at least GI Barbie, like GI
Army
Joe Barbie.
Oh yeah.
Or like Army Barbie. Yeah.
Barbie has served in every branch of the military. Did you know that?
She's so slay for that.
Yeah.
Like she just.
I wonder
I
how
mean,
many,
she's had every
I
job.
wonder how many confirmed kills she has.
Who's to say she wasn't just an army nurse or like?
That's sexist.
But I'm just no, it's not.
Why can't she be a soldier? Why can't she be on the front lines?
Why would she have to kill people?
Maybe she wants to. She's always trying to do different stuff. Maybe she wants to see what
She
it's
wants
like
to
to
see
take
all
someone's
aspects of
life.
it. All aspects of war.
Yeah.
There's apparently Civil War nurse Barbie, so that's really concerning.
Yeah. Which side?
I don't know.
That's important.
I know, right? It doesn't say in like the image.
Let me look it up. Civil War Barbie.
I kind of hate that. I didn't even know that.
Surely
they did
it's
that.
Union, right? She's got to be.
I really hope so.
Okay, so for those who can't, you can't see it. She's in like a blue and white checkered nurse dress. Comes with her own medical bag. American Stories collection. Oh my gosh.
I can't believe it.
Sure, she's got to be union.
You know what? I don't know, because Barbie has been in some questionable attire in her
Yeah,
day. You know what I'm saying? Like like the dolls that try to be like culturally accurate, but they're actually just like stereotypes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
White Barbie dressed as a Native American.
Yeah.
Union or Confederacy. Surely they didn't make a Confederate Barbie. They may have. Okay, so it doesn't specifically say, but people have pieced together that she had to have been Union nurses because Union nurses are the only ones that had medical uniforms. Confederate nurses didn't.
Interesting.
So, but they don't say it, and they don't specify. But it seems like it's
based off
Union.
of context clues.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's my scene would have never.
Yeah, American Doll is big on that. They've got
I mean, they're definitely more like historically based, like historical.
They don't really shy away from that stuff either. If they make like a slave doll, they're like, my life sucks.
Yeah,
and I wish I was dead.
I wasn't big on American Girl. I mean, I really just wanted the one that looked like me, like you get that customized.
Yeah,
but I wasn't big on that.
I was to the American Girl diner in Chicago.
Slay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can appreciate it, but I definitely had more like Barbie Bratz my scene. That was definitely more my vibe instead of like the whole American Girl thing, because people that had that were rich.
Yeah.
Because those were expensive dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the episode. I've had enough.
I've had enough. Anyway, I'm very passionate about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, doll's definitely a big part of my childhood, and now we're gonna watch a horror doll movie.
Nice. Maybe we'll go to Spirits and buy the Chucky doll to have it sitting here with us.
Hopefully, it's not $10 million.
Yeah, I might just get one on eBay or something. All right, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Send us a message at nuancenostalgiapod@gmail.com or on our Facebook and Twitter at Nuanced Nostalgia Pod. Not Twitter, I mean Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
I don't think we have an X account.
An X.
Yeah, the app formerly known as Twitter. What else? Yeah, that's it. Oh, you can follow us you can follow me at Nick Norris 06 everywhere. You can follow Caitlin at Caitlin Shorts everywhere. And we will see you next week with Child's Play.
All right.
And let's play the My Scene.
The song.
Here we go. You ready? You gonna sing along?
Here we go.
We're going out tonight. The scene is out of sight. Gonna get my girls together. We'll be feeling alright. We're gonna move the crowd. Come on, boys, get loud. When the music starts bumping, the whole place will be jumping.
Goodbye, everyone.
It's my scene.
You know what I mean.
It's my scene.
You know what I mean.
Yo.
That's so slay.
Bye.